Hello there guys, it's CoolFox over here, and today I'm bringing an unboxing and review of the AiKnow Super Cardioid Condenser Shotgun microphone. So starting off with the unboxing, on the front you have a picture of it hooked up to a phone, and we will test this out later on in this video, so stay tuned to watch this near the end. Looking all around the box, you can tell that it's very plain and there isn't even any information listed on the back, so we can go straight into the unboxing. Inside, on the top, you'll find the DATCAT itself, then you'll find a few cables here which we will go through later on. You get the shock mount here as well, you get a microphone stand which we will also use later on, the microphone itself, and also a phone mount. And lastly, inside the package you get a small manual here with some specifications written down as well. And basically this will help you hook up the microphone to, for example, your phone, your DSLR if you're having problems with that. And it will also give you a bit of information on the frequency response here, which is 20 Hz to 15 kHz, the signal to noise ratio, which is of 75 decibels, and it also states here that you do not need a battery with this microphone, and therefore it will work through the 3.5mm jack, and the power will be supplied through the device that you're using. So taking a look at the shock mount here, this really reminds me of the Rode Video Mic Go, and basically this whole package reminds me of that microphone. And although I never had it, it seems like a very good microphone, and this might be a good replacement for it since it's a bit cheaper and you can still use it on various products. So in fact the shock mount here seems to be of pretty good quality, and if you happen to bump around your phone, for example, or DSLR, it shouldn't really be picked up that much since the shock mount will help reduce the vibrations. The DATCAT here also seems to be of pretty good quality, and inside you get a lot of foam here, so the microphone will be protected really well, and we will also test the microphone out with the DATCAT on. Then you get the phone mount here, which is quite simple really, and as you can see this part here becomes bigger and smaller depending on how much you stretch it out, and it's very easy to connect your phone to it. So basically you grab your phone, stretch it out as much as you need, and then it will pop right onto the phone and it will be held pretty securely since this up here has a spring that is trying to retract inside, so it will basically hold the phone in place without any problems. Then you get a little holder here which, yes, it is fully made out of plastic, but it will work really well for phones, for example, since it can easily act as a small tripod to put your phone, for example, on a table or somewhere that is quite flat, and this will work without any problems. And something that is really good is that it also has rubber feet here, so it won't damage the surface that it is on, so that is always a good thing to have. Apart from that, you can also open them up as much as you want, and it should stay quite stable, although since it's not really that resistant to opening up by itself, it might also unfortunately open up by itself, and that might basically make your phone fall down. So this is really not that huge of an issue since most people will leave it open completely, but if you do want to use it in a retracted state like this, do keep in mind that it's on a stable surface. Then you get two cables here which are TRRS connections, and you also get labels on both of them. So this one here, for example, says microphone, and the other one says microphone as well, but on the other end you will see that one is intended for your camera and one is intended for your smartphone. So this is a really nice addition, as they also made sure that these are easily labeled. But basically the difference in both of these is that on the other end here, one of them is a TRRS connection, so that's the one for the smartphone, and the other only has two rings here, which basically means that it's not a TRRS connection. And the difference in this is that smartphones operate microphones via the TRRS connection, and if you are to connect this cable into your smartphone, it will not work as the signals for the microphone input will not go through. So it's very nice that they labeled them to avoid confusion. And then lastly you get the microphone itself here, and it's really nice to see that this is made out of some kind of metal, and it's actually a bit heavy, which is really good to see, and it does feel very solid all around, which is also really good to see at this cheap price. You also get the AiKnow logo here on it, and on the back you get two connections. So you get one for the microphone output to your phone or DSLR, and you also get a headphone output, which is really good to see. So one very small gripe that I am seeing is that there is no windsock here apart from the DATCAT itself. The DATCAT might be a bit intimidating to some, but if you want to keep it protected and basically free from any wind noise, even if it is minor, you need to put it inside of the DATCAT, which is a very simple process here. And there you have the microphone fully set up and ready to be connected to the shock mount. So all that is left is for you to open up the shock mount here and put it in like so. And if you think that it's going to break, it will not, and this is basically because it is really tight, which is really good to see, since obviously you do not want it to fall off the shock mount itself. But once it's on there, it's really solid, as you can see. And if you, for example, have a phone that is hit on something or it vibrates, you can see that the shock mount here tries to absorb most of the vibration, so less of that vibration goes into the microphone and less of it is picked up. So having a shock mount is always a good thing to have. Now with this mount here on the bottom, you can easily hook it up to your DSLR camera through your hot shoe mount and then tighten it down via this little screw up here. And then if you want to hook it up to your phone, you can use the threaded mount here and put it onto the tripod here as well. And all you need to do is screw it in, or else you can put it directly on the phone mount as well through its own cold shoe mount, which is really good to see. And basically the same applies here. All you need to do is tighten it down, and once it's tightened down enough, it will not move around, hopefully, and it will basically stay in place really well. Okay, so now this is a test with the AiKnow microphone connected directly to my Nikon D5300, and I did have to put the input level at around a level 10 on my camera, which is really normal with these external microphones, since even with the Techstar Sgc598 I had to put it at around a level 10 if it's not using the plus 10 dB gain on itself. And when the plus 10 dB gain is used on that microphone, I put it at around a level 8 on my camera. So level 10 is really a normal input gain amount. Now as you can tell, it does sound pretty good, and I will be comparing this to my Techstar Sgc598. And there is also a bit of background noise here, so you might be able to hear if it's actually being directional or if it's actually picking up more of the background than my voice. So now here is a test with the Techstar Sgc598, and you can basically tell if it's picking up more of my voice or the background compared to the AiKnow external mic. And this will basically show you how much of a supercardioid these two microphones are and how directional they actually are. Now something that I do find which is pretty good with the Techstar, which is not present on the AiKnow, is actually the plus 10 dB gain switch, and this is basically because it allows me to put the input level on my Nikon D5300 at a lower level, and this allows me to pick up less noise through the Nikon's amplifier, which usually on these entry-level DSLRs is really not that good. So it is a really good option to have a plus 10 dB gain on your microphone instead of adjusting it to a higher level from your camera system. Now of course I did not really expect the AiKnow microphone to have a plus 10 dB gain switch, since overall it's a lot smaller than the Techstar. Now something else which is really good with this microphone is the shock mount, as the one present on the Techstar is really not that good. And you can easily tell that there will be a few more vibrations going through the microphone rather than this microphone. Now something else that I did notice, which is quite unfortunate with the AiKnow, is that the pass-through here does not work on my DSLR, and this only works on my phone. Since it is not really a live output feed, it's actually only for playback, so once you're playing it back on your phone, for example, you will be able to hear it back through this jack instead of unplugging it and plugging in your headphones. So you can easily leave this plugged in and plug in your headphones into the microphone. Now here's also a test through the inbuilt microphone on my Nikon D5300, and as you can hear, this is easily the worst one out of the three of them. So basically having any type of external recorder will be a big improvement to your inbuilt recorder on your DSLR. So now this is a test with the AiKnow microphone, and this will also show you how good of a directional mic it is compared to the Techstar here, since my birds are also making a bit of sound in this recording as well. But basically I would say that this is a really good microphone for the price, and since it also connects really easily to your phone, and you get the phone holder and also the tripod and the two cables that go along with your phone and one that goes with your camera, this is overall a really good package. And since it's really not that expensive, this would be a very good option for you if you're out and about, maybe recording with your phone and sometimes recording with your camera. So I would say that this is a really good option to go over. So this right here now is a test with the Techstar Sgc598 outside, and this is without the dead cat on the microphone itself, but it is actually inside of the box, so you can actually use it. But for this test, I am not really comparing how well the dead cat actually acts on these two microphones. I am really just comparing the sound quality here and how much of the background noise they actually pick up. So here again, my birds are making a bit of sound, so you might be able to hear that, but this will also show you how directional the microphone actually is. So here right now I am recording on the Gcam application on my OnePlus 6,
And I am using this application since the default OnePlus camera app doesn't actually allow you to use any external microphones. Now at the moment I am not using the external microphone, but I am using this application still so that it's a fair comparison and so that the audio is processed the same way for both cases.
So now here I am using the AiKnow microphone and it's still being recorded on the Google camera app. And basically you can still hear quite a bit of echo here, unfortunately, but you can easily tell that the microphone is a lot clearer, and this is basically what this microphone tries to achieve. Now in this case, of course, since I am closed inside, there is quite still a bit of echo, which is unfortunate, but you can still hear the improvement in the sound quality. Another thing that you will experience with this microphone is that if I move my phone around, you can tell that the shock mount tries to absorb the sound, but unfortunately there will still be a bit of vibrations passed through to the microphone, so that will still be picked up by the microphone itself, which is quite unfortunate again, but this is really common with external microphones. But overall you can really tell that the microphone does sound a lot clearer and you get a lot more range in the frequency response. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. This was CoolFox and I'm out. Peace.